doing it so quickly. I
Appreciate
really
it.
appreciate it. You did it straight away. I could see you were still wearing the same outfit. So I listened to it straight away. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
What do you think about
Um,
the outfit?
yeah, it was very good. It's very good, of course, as usual, Sheikh. You know, I need to learn
Jazakumullah.
how to be like you.
Jazakumullah khair. طيب. Um, so what did you remember so far from the instructions that we've said about watch? And something else, I need you to start to memorize as much as you can if possible. Like for example, we are done with Surah An-Naba as like reading or reciting.
No.
I would like you to dedicate like even few minutes on daily basis so you can learn, you can memorize the surah by like two,
Mhm.
3 weeks. Memorization is very good. Why? Because at the end of the day, you have the Quran in your heart.
Mhm.
And this is something that, subhanAllah, yani the
No.
Prophet ﷺ said, whoever has the Quran in
Sallallahu alaihi
his
wasallam.
heart, it is like pretty much as you are a prophet, but there is no revelation coming to you. Quote unquote. You have the revelation in your chest, which is the Quran.
No.
So try your best to
SubhanAllah.
memorize. And that will increase
Inshallah.
your understanding of Warsh. Like if you memorize in Warsh, you will find yourself so much better and so solid in the qira'ah of Warsh. Hmm.
No. Inshallah. Yeah. I trust me, I always practice in my spare time. Um, I listen to Husari like you recommended, his whole playlist on with Warsh. Yeah, I really tried to listen a lot. So I've
Like
I've I've tried to make good use of
now,
my time so far.
the mic
Alhamdulillah,
is
it's going
yours.
it's going well.
The mic is yours now. You can wrap up the previous class and tell me if you have any questions.
Okay. So from the previous class, I remember we spent quite, I think, almost half of the lesson answering my questions on the history again. I remember the history and connecting the basmala in the different ways. So we covered that again. So in terms of connecting the two surahs with the basmala and then connecting it without. So from what I remember with the basmala, you can do it the normal way, which is to just take a breath after the surah is finished, say the basmala, take a breath, and then start the new ayah. The second way to connect it with the basmala is to join it all in one. So the last ayah, the basmala, and then the first ayah of the next surah, which is wasl. And then the last way is to end the surah, take a breath, then connect the basmala with the first verse. So this is the three ways with the basmala. And then the ways without the basmala is either with the sect or the wasl. But the preferred way, which was the muqaddam fil ada, fil ada, I'm
الأداء
not sure how you pronounce it.
في الأداء
This
yes.
is the preferred way of Warsh, was to do sect.
Yeah.
So we covered that.
Hmm.
We also covered the four Zuhur surahs, which were
Mm-hmm.
the surahs that begin in Waylul and
Mm-hmm.
La.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a read through the notes again, and it's the issue was to connect, not issue, but the thing was to connect with the previous surah to
Now,
those four surahs because of the meaning or something. And you said you were going to explain it a bit further today. And then we covered the meme al jamma, which is the masculine meme with the sukoon, or it's also plural talking about you.
mm-hmm.
And this meme when followed by a hamza will be a six count med. Yeah, but we didn't go too deep into it. We didn't go too deep into that meme yet because, like I said, I took up a lot of the lesson covering, recapping from the first lesson. But yeah,
That is everything.
I believe so, yes.
Right. Do you have any questions before we start?
Um, just a little unrelated one.
Hmm.
You see the the PDF that you gave me with the
Mm-hmm.
red markings, does that exist like in physical form, like to buy in like a mushaf where it's the red, like
Uh,
it's actually changed?
I think there is one here. There is one, but I'm not sure if they are actually like running out of the stock or
Uh,
not. Like they printed like the 10 qira'at in one mushaf. I personally
okay.
have one, but it's quite complicated to deal with. When it comes
Ah,
to that one, um, I don't think so. I can recommend something else. You can just print it out. So if you print it
okay.
out,
No.
and do a little bit of proper covering, and that'll be your almost half. It
You're
is okay,
right.
but as long as you don't take notes in it, like you don't write down in it, even with a
Hmm.
pencil.
Ah, okay.
It's not recommended at all.
Okay. Okay. Inshallah. No worries.
Like,
And I have the
and
app as well. Yeah, you mentioned the app as well.
yeah,
I've
there is an
downloaded the
app.
app. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
I downloaded it. It's very good. I remember you mentioned it last lesson.
yes.
Yeah.
Like the app should be with you anywhere,
Hmm.
so you can literally read wherever you are.
Exactly.
طيب, let's get started. Bismillah.
Inshallah.
In order to recap and make sure that we are on the same page, inshallah, I would like you to recite again Surah Al-Naba, and we will
Okay.
pause by some ahkam in between. Then we can go from there, inshallah ta'ala. After you drink some water.
Abu Ovua.
Yeah.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عما يتساءلون
Right.
عن
First of all, what type of the mad is this one? في يتساءلون.
So I think it's a muttasil. Obviously, I
Uh-huh.
don't know Arabic too well, but I think
Muttasil
it's
is like connected.
okay.
Okay,
I,
what is the
it is,
ruling
I
of
think.
Warsh on it?
So last lesson, you gave me a magic tip. That's what you told me. You said that
Yes.
every med apart from the med bedel is going
Mhm.
to be six harakat. So we didn't cover this exact med, but you said that every med is just six harakat. I
Right.
could be wrong there.
Oh, no, no, you're not wrong. You're right. This is
Okay.
a connected met, and I would like you to pay
Okay.
extra attention with me right now because
Okay.
I need you to understand how this med came from originally.
Okay.
So this med, any med in the Arabic language or in Tajweed comes from the three vowels, the three main vowels, al-waw, wal-alif, wal-ya. If those three vowels are followed by hamza, we have a med here.
Mhm.
طيب. We have different cases for that. يعني we may find the hamza right after harf al-mad in the same word. They may be they may be in two different words. They may be, there is no hamza after the mad, but there is a stressed letter. At the end of the day, what I need you to focus on for now is the thing that causes al-mad.
Mhm.
Al-mad is caused because of one of the three letters. Al-alif, al-waw, al-ya. And when I say alif, please do not include the hamza.
Of course. Yeah.
A,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of people they mix al-hamza with al-alif. What I mean is alif al-mad,
Nah.
like the one without hamza on it, either on the top or below.
Nah.
طيب. Uh, these are the three vowels that should be there for any word for me to consider this is mad. Then after that, I need to go to the second step. What is the letter that is after harf al-mad? The letter that is after harf al-mad is hamza.
Mhm.
So the mad should be one of those two mudud. It's either munfasil, disconnected, or muttasil, connected. What is the meaning of connected and disconnected in that regards? It means if they are in two separate words, harf al-mad, alif, al-waw, al-ya, is considered to be the very last letter of the first word, and the hamza is considered to be the very first harf of the second kalima, the second word,
Yeah.
then this is a disconnected mad. طيب, what is the perspective or what is the madhab of Warsh rahimahullah ta'ala in that regards? He prolongs it for 6 counts. This is one way. طيب, what is the other way? The other way is the connected mad, as this word. يتساءلون. Pretty much, you have the alif followed by hamza, just right after. There is no separation, nothing in between. So this is connected mad or mad muttasil. 6
Naam.
harakas as well. طيب, what is the difference since you are getting a little bit advanced right now and you're studying Warsh? So I'll ask you a question. You can take your
Okay.
time and answer if you
Okay.
know the answer. What is the difference between the madhab of Hafs and the madhab of Warsh when it comes to the disconnected mad?
So for the disconnected meds, which is where the hamza is in a separate word, with warsh, we stretch for 6 counts, mandatory. And for hafs, the way I've been taught is 4 counts, non-compulsory, but I've heard some people also say 4 or 5 counts. I've been taught 4, but
I'm
that one
talking
is
about
non-compulsory.
I'm talking about the disconnected.
Yeah, for disconnected, yeah.
Okay. Okay. طيب. Without getting into too many details for now, what I can say is for Hafs, it is kind of optional. You do have options. Regardless, what are the options for now? But for Warsh, it is only one option, 6
Mhm.
harakas. And 6 harakas could be measured as 3 seconds of time.
Yeah.
The scholars long time ago, they were using the fingers. Yani one finger, they move it that way, so it's 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. It is not that accurate, to be honest. Some people they use the actual clock or the actual watch, the actual time. It's not that accurate as well. So how to fix that? By practice.
No.
When you practice, you feel like, okay, I know this is 6 harakas. This like 4 harakas. Khalas, I know it by heart. So this is regarding the differences between Hafs and Warsh. What is the point of teaching you the differences between Hafs and Warsh? In order to have a solid base for Hafs and to get more advanced in Warsh and to be able to compare between both of them.
No.
So I'm literally hitting two birds with one stone, if you know what I mean.
Of
Yani,
course.
right now, I want to make sure that you are pretty much stable when it comes to Hafs and you are progressing when it comes to Warsh.
Yeah.
So, just to wrap it up, we covered pretty much in these 2 minutes 2 types of mad in Warsh.
No.
Al-muttasil wal-munfasil. The connected and the disconnected. Both of them are 6 harakas. And this is considered to be compulsory. There is no options. That's it. Very simple.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. No.
Bye. Bismillah.
Understood.
You can carry on.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا
Bye.
والجبال.
Why did we say al-arda instead of al-arda? What is the point behind it? We don't have to mention the actual qaida today, but you
Okay.
just know the title and keep it in your mind
Okay.
because when you hear it later on, you know what is it
Now.
exactly.
Now. Okay.
An-naql. It is called an-naql. In Arabic, an-naql. What is the perspective of a naql in general? An-naql, if you think about it from a very superficial linguistic meaning, it means transportation. pretty much literally
Mm,
means transportation. So
mm.
what is the point of transportation? Transportation pretty much delivers or takes one person from a place to another.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what happens with Warsh here. So we took the haraka of the Hamza here, which is al-a, and we moved it and we gave it to the previous letter. So it became
Mm.
alam naj'ali la, instead of
Wait, can you repeat that
al-a.
again? Can you just
Sure.
start that bit again? So,
Okay,
okay.
it's
So
not
the
the topic for
haraka.
today, by the way.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
not the
Yeah. Yeah.
topic
Yeah.
for today, by the way.
Mhm.
But just
Mhm.
want you to know the terminology, which is
Yeah.
a naql,
Mhm.
and the linguistic perspective of it. And then we pretty much took the Hamza. You could have asked yourself that question. Where is the Hamza that was originally written on al-ard? Like when it comes to Hafs, where is it?
Mm.
It's
It would
gone,
be the Hamzatul
disappeared.
Wasl, right? Normally. Yeah.
That before that, like when Hafs, it was Hamzatul Qata. It was not Hamzatul Wasl.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But where is it? It was written a Hamza on the top of the Alif here. Where is it? It's gone. Remember the example
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
transportation?
Mm-hmm.
We took the Hamza, we put it into like in a bus or a taxi, whatever, and we took the Hamza and then we moved it somewhere else, so it disappeared. Just in a very simple way. Okay?
No,
I'm sure like my students tell me all the time, your examples are something else. Like
they
you will
are.
never ever forget that example of transportation, inshallah.
Correct. Inshallah. Correct.
Right? Carry
Okay.
on.
Shall I carry
Bismillah.
on? Okay. والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا.
Right. One single second here.
Mhm,
Why the ra is muraqqaqa here? It's not my point today.
mhm.
My point is just to raise an alarm here
نعم.
to tell you that, this is kind of, I'm giving you a hint
Yeah, yeah.
that there is something special with the ra when it comes to riwayat warsh.
Okay.
There is
نعم.
something so special when it comes to the ra in riwayat warsh. And
نعم.
there is something so special with the lam when it comes to riwayat warsh.
Mm,
Remember in riwayat Hafs, if you study that before, we said that a ra is treated in a very different way.
mhm.
Like we can't really say the ra is considered to be one of the letters of at-tafkhim because it's not one of the seven letters, khussa,
Yeah.
ضغط, qidh, and we can't really say it is one of the murakkak letters because it has different situations. Depends on the
Mm,
haraka, depends on the
yes.
tashkil, fatha, dhamma, and kasra. So the ra should be this like should be treated that VIP treatment in Warsh as well. It's
Yeah.
treated
Okay.
like a very, very special treatment.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you studied that before or not, but in Hafs, there is a whole chapter that talks about the lam of the word Allah.
Mm,
And the lam of the word Allah is treated in another way as well. Sometimes it is muraqqaqa and sometimes it is mufakhama. Depends
نعم.
on the tashkil as well. Fatha, dhamma, kasra.
Yeah.
So the lam here in riwayat Warsh still the same as
In
VIP
Hafs.
treatment as well, but
Okay.
we are talking about the general lamb, not the lamb of the word Allah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. نعم.
So
Mhm.
just keep in mind as a kind of alarm
Yeah.
that the ra is kind of different when it comes to warsh, and the
Mhm.
lamb is kind of different as well.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
got it?
Yep. Yep. نعم.
And those two, by the way, they are considered to be one of the main specialities of warsh,
Mhm.
along with the naql. Yani, obviously, when you think about um, if you are pretty much covering your eyes closing your eyes,
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
someone saying ألم نجعل الأرض. This is Warsh.
Yeah.
خلاص.
Nah.
Why? Because an-naql is one of his main specialities.
Mm.
By the way, there is one more qari that shares partial naql with Warsh, with certain circumstances, and this is Hamza, with certain riwayah as
Ah,
well, with
interesting.
certain circumstances. طيب.
Interesting.
Now the
Okay.
point is, the ra is treated sometimes differently, and I'm talking about a tarqiq, by the way, to be more accurate. يعني وجعلنا سرا. This is حفص سراد. Why the ra is
Mm.
مفخمة? Because it is مفتوحة. Here, what is pretty much it's upside down. So whenever
Hmm.
you hear a ra, a softened ra, automatically you think about warsh. This is one of the
Yes.
main specialities as well.
So would you
When
would
it
you call
comes
that
to
usul? Is
one of
that
the
usul
usul,
then?
exactly,
Okay.
perfect,
Okay.
great. Something else. When
Hmm.
you hear a lam that is mufakhama, like for example, you hear the word salla, as-salah instead of as-salah. Everybody
Ah,
else, every other qari, they recite as-salah. If
yes.
you hear as-salah, خلاص, this is what? 1
Ah,
million%.
never heard
So
about this.
you
Yeah.
are, yeah, you're getting like kind of like uh drawing the personality, if you may so, of a qari.
Nah.
Like it has some features for each and every qari in your mind, and like there's kind of like codes for each and every qari. You hear that,
Hmm.
you know this is hafs. Why I'm
Mm.
telling you this? Because when it comes to the disconnected and the connected mad,
Hmm.
prolonging them for 6 harakas is not helping you that much to recognize or to
Mm.
identify warsh from the very first recitation or the
Nah.
very first time you hear like to someone reciting, for example.
Hmm.
Why? Because Hamza as well is sharing the same med.
Yeah.
Hamza is going for 6 harakas, either like munfasil or muttasil. So right now, you could say that those are the main specialities of Warsh. An-naql, like as saying al-ard, and the lightening of ar-ra, siraja, and
Hmm.
the heaviness of the lamp.
Mm.
As-salah, for example. You got
Hmm.
it?
Hmm. Yep. 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 Nah.
Right. This is
Okay.
great. You can carry on starting from وَأَنزَلْنَا.
Okay. وأنزلنا من المعصرات ماء ثجاجا لنخرج به حبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتاتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا.
A little bit of
You.
insight here. When it comes
Mhm,
to the word ma'aba,
mhm.
right, what do you remember from the previous class about what I said about this kind of med?
So you mentioned that this is med badal. So with my name, for example, you said it can be Adam or with 4 counts or 6 counts, I think.
All right, you're not fully correct, but you are like 70% correct.
Okay.
So let me explain to you
Okay.
why or how this meant already started. Remember, we said before that the vowel comes first and then the hamza.
Hmm. Hmm.
What are the three vowels in Arabic?
Alif, waw, and yeah.
Okay. What happens here if you deeply think about it, is a little bit of changing of the system, meaning it is upside down. How?
Mm.
The Hamza came first and then harf al-mad, like the letter of the mad, which is the alif.
Yeah.
Type. Why did we call it badal? First of all, I need to understand the word badal.
Mm.
Badal in the Arabic language, it has a lot of meanings in the Arabic language. One of them is giving something instead of something, which is pretty much has a similar meaning of selling and buying something, exchanging.
Okay.
So I am buying this phone from you and giving you this money instead of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what happens here? It is even referring to something way bigger than that, which is the upside down of
Mm.
the concept of al-mad. Because al-hamza comes first, and then the harf al-mad comes later, which is al-alif. So what happens here is everything is upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So al-badal here does not mean exchange as one of the meanings. It means something instead of something.
Yeah.
So the meaning is al-hamza instead of the harf al-mad, and harf al-mad is instead of al-hamza. Like
Yeah.
pretty much as changing rules and changing positions.
Like opposite.
Exactly. So al-badal here, pretty much opposite or upside down. And
Mm-hmm.
this is one of the very, very rare, if not the only, one of the very, very rare mudud, if not the only med that Warsh gives you flexibility with or gives you options
Mm.
with.
Mm.
And keep something in mind. Whenever Warsh gives you options, the options should be three. They can't be two.
Okay.
Sometimes Hafs gives you two options only, like four or five harakat. Sometimes two or four. Sometimes three options. But when it comes to Warsh, it is only like three options if he's giving you options.
Okay.
This is very rare.
Yeah.
So one of the only conditions, if not the only mudud, when you have options is mad al-badal.
Mm-hmm.
But again, nothing is granted. Like you're not taking that anything that easily.
Yeah.
You you gotta pay for this. What are you paying for? You are paying for choosing the length that you prefer. So depending on your choice, you can't really change it anytime in your recitation. For example,
Mm.
in the ayah number 22, it says, لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا. That is your first option to do it, which is two harakas.
No.
And then, لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا. Four. Then six harakas. مَآبًا. Right. Whatever you choose right now, be
Okay.
cautious, be careful that this is
Okay.
gonna stick to the end of the recitation. You gotta stick to that
No.
style.
Yes,
Right.
you're right.
After that,
Okay.
you will find two of the mudud again.
Mm.
بِآيَاتِنَا.
Okay. Okay.
So you can't really start ma'aba with two counts and then you change in بِآيَاتِنَا to four counts.
No.
No.
Understood.
The whole Quran is built over that concept, which
Mm.
is balance. Two here, two there,
Mm.
till the end of the recitation. When does your recitation end? When you say Sadaqallahu al-Azim and you pretty much either close the Mus'haf or just you're done with your recitation. Can you
Yes.
recite another recitation like in 20 seconds? Yes, you can. As long as you said a new ista'adha and
Ah.
maybe a new basmala.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this is quite I don't want to say complicated, but a lot of people they don't understand it. I don't know why. It's very simple.
Yeah.
When to say al-isti'adha and when to say al-basmala. I'm not talking about Warsh here in general. If I'm starting my recitation, when to say that and when to say that. Very simple. A
Mm.
general command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam and everybody after. If you want to recite the Quran, then you start with أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Surah Al-Nahl, verse number 98. فإذا قرأت القرآن فاستعذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Very simple. طيب, when to say al-basmala? Al-basmala should be said at the beginning of a surah. If you are starting the surah from the actual beginning, يعني the first ayah. If
نعم
you are starting
نعم.
the surah from the second, third, fourth, 11th ayah, it's not a big deal. You may say it, you may leave it.
Okay,
But
okay.
al-isti'adha should be said in each and every single time. Another point, if we interrupt the recitation as we do right now, I'm commenting on your recitation, giving some instructions and whatsoever. If you go back to the recitation, you gotta say "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim" again.
Mm,
Why? Because this is kind of announcement. Guys, I'm gonna read the Quran. So what happens? You listen carefully
ah,
to me. So you guys are adhering to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which
نعم.
is فَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ in Surah Al-A'raf. Allah
Mhm,
commanded the listener just to gotta listen to the Quran carefully. And this is why some scholars, they don't really like, this is quite out of the topic, but it's related to the Quran. It's a fiqhi issue. They don't really like playing the Quran or just leaving it on the TV or the radio or the phone
yeah,
while
yeah.
eating or driving or sleeping. You're not listening to it carefully. Some scholars, they really disliked it. Why? Because you're not adhering to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is
Mm,
listening carefully to it.
mm,
You know what I mean? It is it is
نعم.
it is connected at the end of the day. And the one with the proper understanding is the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants good for him. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fi din." If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants good for you, then you will have a fiqh and proper understanding of the deen. So
Okay,
وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا should be matching whatever you choose in ma'aba.
okay, okay.
Otherwise, the scholars give the example of a person that is not fully healthy, a person
Mm,
with a health problem or health medical
okay.
issue or whatever. In the Quran, everything should be fit. And I believe I told you about the terminology of having a fit tongue. So your tongue should be fit, meaning you practice the Quran as the fitness of your tongue, then your tongue becomes fit. If your
Mhm,
tongue becomes fit, this is what makes one reciter better than the other, and vice versa. What is the meaning of the fitness of the tongue? Being able to move among the ahkam very quickly without being hesitant and without being with a proper fluency. So you're not lagging in between, you're not pausing,
mhm,
and you're doing that in a very fluent way. You move from tarqiq to tafkhim to mad to ghunna in
mm.
less than a blink of an eye. So you are pretty much doing a great part of it. The only part missing is to understand where the mudud or where the ahkam came
Yeah,
from. Okay, you're raising your hand.
yeah. I figured out how to do it. So I was gonna say,
Alhamdulillah.
is that the same with the med عاري للسكون then, right? That it should, even in Hafs, whatever you're reading, it should be consistent, of course, right?
I'll give you the golden key for this.
Okay.
Whenever you get a chance to choose something,
Mm,
know from the bottom of your heart that this flexibility or this freedom is not granted. Like, it is a
mm.
privilege. Since it is a privilege, then you gotta pay for it, and the payment for it is sticking to what single method.
نعم نعم.
You got it?
Okay. Yep, yep. نعم.
طيب.
Okay,
So then
I'll
say أعوذ
pick.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم again, and
Yes.
start from لابثين فيها أحقابا.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. لابثين فيها أحقابا. لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا
Another tricky
إن
question. Can you connect, can you merge, can you carry on with verses number 26 and 27? يعني جزاء وفاقا and then إنهم in one single ayah?
one second. So the وغساقا and the next one.
No, وفاقا
Which
and the
the
next
one
one.
before? وفاقا. Where's وفاقا? Sorry, I'm blind.
26. Hmm.
20. Wait, my numbers are a bit slow. Okay,
Okay,
26. Oh
numbers,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I see.
جزاء وفاقا and the next.
Does that? Oh, okay, yeah.
Connect them.
Let me try it. Would it be
I told you,
وفاقا؟
I told you before, I was very honest with you from the beginning. It
Mm,
is a tricky question.
nah.
My question is
Yeah,
always tricky, so.
yeah. I've always wondered how, but I've never tried. Would it
Okay.
be وفاقا or
Perfect,
وفاقا?
perfect, great.
Okay.
وفاقا إنهم. What is the name of it?
This is the النقل, right?
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect. Never expect any innocent question from me. All of
Okay.
my questions should be dangerous, should be, tricky. So get ready for that. Hmm.
Inshallah, it's good. It'll keep me on my toes. Inshallah, it's good. That's good.
طيب
Okay.
جزاء وفاقا إنهم.
Okay.
Okay, another tip. What if you are an absolute beginner, like you know
Mm,
nothing in Warsh, and you're just
mm,
reading with this copy? You
no.
will see that there is a noon on the top of the tanween here.
Hmm.
It's telling you move it a little bit to the noon, yani the noon sound, and that it is like, okay, I'll give you that example. Imagine that you are driving a car.
Hmm.
You are going that way, going that way, going that way. Where is the alif? On the top.
Yeah.
So there is a bridge here on the top of it. Then you gotta go down again. You are going
Uh,
down, meeting the alif.
yeah. Yeah.
What type of alif is it? Is it hamzatul wasl or hamzatul qatr?
Uh, well, technically, قطع, right? It should, right? Or
Okay, just to make your life easier. If you see the hamza written, then it is hamzatul qatr.
okay, fine. Yeah.
If it's not written, it's hamzatul wasl right away.
Mm, mm, no, you're right.
So for Hafs, it is hamzatul qatr. جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا.
Hmm.
But for Warsh, it's something else. Because of the naql, this Hamza was changed from Hamzatul Qata' to Hamzatul Wasl. How
Mm,
did I know this? If I'm an absolute beginner, I'm saying the Hamza is not there. It's not written.
mm,
Either on the
exactly.
top or below, under. It's not written. So
Mm,
khalas, it is Hamzatu al Wasl.
hmm. Hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Perfect example once again.
If you understand the signs, like each and every sign in the Mus'haf, and
Mm,
what sign, like what the signs are referring to, then most likely you'll be able to read by yourself.
hmm.
The
Hmm.
rest is to understand how the ahkam or where the ahkam came from.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll practice inshallah. Okay. Shall I connect them? Shall I try and connect them?
Whatever, khalas, whatever you can.
Okay.
Hmm.
So with the amount of time that we spoke now, would I have to start with the isti'adha again?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Since there is an interruption and there is a
Mm.
man talk, khalas.
Okay. Okay. Got it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا Oh, sorry, I got confused. إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا وكل شيء أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم sorry فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا. Question: why is Ar-Rahman red?
SubhanAllah, that's a very good question. And I was about to elaborate, but keep it in mind you're at your current level, so I will be
Okay,
so
نعم.
so beginner with you answering your question. Rabbu and Ar-Rahmanu, they should be similar in al-i'rab, in al-nahu, in the grammar. So if you check Hafs, Rabbi is with a kasra and Ar-Rahmani is with a kasra as well. Why?
Ah,
This is another qaida or another ruling of grammar, which is called al-badal. Again, al-badal, yes, but with another completely different meaning. What is the meaning of al-badal here in like 2 seconds? Two things, two words referring to one thing. So if I take something, one thing out of the two, it is still referring to the same thing.
mhm,
For example, Umar, Al-Faruq. If I take out Al-Faruq, Umar is referring to Umar radiallahu anhu. If I take Umar, still Al-Faruq, then Al-Faruq automatically think about Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu.
mhm,
طيب, same thing with Abu Bakr, As-Siddiq. You take As-Siddiq, then Abu Bakr is the first Khalifa radiallahu anhu.
نعم.
You take Abu Bakr, then As-Siddiq is left. Then As-Siddiq is the same person. You
Mm,
know what I mean? So one of the
yeah.
conditions for that badal in Arabic is they should be matching each other in al-i'rab.
Okay.
So al-i'rab meaning tashkil يعني. So Rabbu is with a dhamma, Ar-Rahmanu should be with a dhamma. But in Hafs, both of them they have kasra. This is why they are both of them, like both of them are
Interesting.
colored with the right color.
Very interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Because if you think about it from that perspective, Rabbu Ar-Rahman, same thing. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you say Rabb,
Exactly.
automatically
Yeah.
you think about the
Mm,
Lord, the God.
yeah.
Ar-Rahman, the most
Yeah.
merciful, one of his beautiful names and attributes. Then
Yeah.
it is like the concept of al-badal in the grammar.
Mm. And they have to match with that ending. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. Ending should be the same. Fatha, Dhamma, Kasra.
Mhm. Okay. Inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا
Al-Malaika was a little short.
Okay.
Maybe you forgot and you went back to Hafs.
Yeah, sorry. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا.
MashaAllah. This is perfect. I would like
Thank
to
you.
add something very important in Warsh and in Hafs. And since you were asking about the Makharij, so this is something that you keep it with you till the end of your life.
Okay. Inshallah.
It is one advice that my Sheikh, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him, is like over 80 right now. He told me this piece of info like 20 years ago, and I never forgot it. Subhanallah.
SubhanAllah.
He
SubhanAllah.
told me how to differentiate between the sounds or the sifat or the qualities or the characters of three letters. And those three letters are considered to be letters asnaniya, meaning the teeth, they actually take responsibility in pronouncing them or reading them.
Yeah.
Like, what are the three letters? First and foremost, where is the one? Okay. Al zay fi azwaja. And the way you did it, it was absolutely stunning. It was amazing. Like I wanted to stop you, but at the same time, I didn't want to interrupt your
Barakallahu feek.
recitation. But it is a very, very, very good way of saying that, and I will get to that later on, inshallah. Type. And then the scene.
Inshallah.
So azay and
See.
then the scene. Type. What is the third one? So to conclude, as-sad here. Inna yawm al-fasli.
Okay.
Type. I would give you that secret that you will never ever forget it again, inshallah, by keeping those pretty much like images of animals or birds in your memory. So
Mm.
whenever you pronounce one of them, you remember that creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they make tasbih of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, except Bani Adam, subhanallah, except the son of Adam's, of sons of Adam, alayhi salam. يعني وإن من شيء إلا يسبح بحمده ولكن لا تفقهون تسبيحه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Surah Al-Isra that every creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created is remembering Allah's name, doing the remembrance of the dhikr of the tasbih of Allah, but we do not understand their
Mm.
language. And
Allah.
we think that we are the best creation ever when it comes to understanding. And in reality, we understand nothing, subhanallah. Because we did not worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He deserves, subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you read the story that is at the end of Surah Al-Ahzab, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was giving the al-amana here meaning a taklif, and a taklif is referring to knowing what is right and what is wrong, being judged based on your actions. Every creation just ran away from it. And al-insan, mankind said, I will take it. This is stupidity, subhanallah. يعني وحملها الإنسان, the mankind took it and he said, okay, I'll take the concept of a taklif. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات, the heavens, والجبال, والأرض, like the earth, والجبال, the mountains. They refused to take it. This is why they are not mukallafin. They are not judged. Literally, they don't have the aql that we have.
Yeah.
But the
Exactly.
point is, subhanAllah, we think that we understand everything. We can go to the moon right
Mm.
now and we have all the technology, and this is, but other creations, they're making tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the
SubhanAllah.
Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, he had a very interesting story with them, understanding their own
Mm.
language and trying to address
Yeah.
them and talk to them, subhanAllah. So the point
Okay.
of as-sifat here that I want you to learn for today, the letter Zay first. The letters they the same exact sound, subhanallah, of the bees. Zzz.
Ah,
If you think about
correct.
it from that perspective, that will make your iman deeper. Because you think about, okay, why the sound of this harf in the Quran is similar to another sound of another creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. Subhanallah. So as the same way you said it.
Allah. Yeah.
Another trick, another very important tip. If I want to know where is the makhraj, where is the articulation point of any letter, what should I do? I should bring that sound in a consonant case, and I put alif before it or hamza. Then I try to pronounce wherever
Mm,
or like wherever I see that there is no more sound coming out of me, then that should be the proper makhraj of the harf. For example, letter
okay.
kha, I get alif before it, and they akh. Where's the end of the sound? In the throat. So it is one of the letters of the throat.
Yes.
Ha, for example, ah, same thing.
Ah,
Ah.
ah,
If there is a letter that you don't really know where to pronounce it from, then do that
ah.
trick. You get the hamza before it, and then you
SubhanAllah,
make
that's
it
actually very good.
consonant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you will know the sound is cutting here. Khalas. Sound is cutting here. No more
Yeah.
sound. Khalas. Then this is the makhraj
Wow.
of the harf.
Mm.
Right. So
It's a
the
very good trick.
zay is like bees, right?
Hmm.
And the scene is like what? Scene is like the little, the little not the little normal. The lactus? They actually eat
I don't
them
know if
in
that.
Maghrib.
What is that? Let me Google it.
Google
What's
it.
it called?
Lactus. Lactus.
Loctus. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. I
Like
went to when I went to Medina. They were
Medina,
everywhere.
yeah, yeah, everywhere in Medina, subhanAllah. I don't know what is wrong with them.
Wow.
Everywhere in Medina. Like last time, like 2 months ago, I was there. I saw a man literally fully covered with locks and like sitting calmly, subhanAllah.
SubhanAllah.
Fa this is in Arabic, it's called al-jarad,
Mm.
and it is halal to eat it, by the way,
Wow.
by the permission of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they eat it in
Sallallahu Alaihi
Maghrib. In
Wasallam.
Morocco, they eat it.
Okay.
It tastes like shrimp, by the way.
Wow.
It
Interesting.
is full of protein and full of like energy.
Nutrients and
You may
stuff. Yeah.
Google that.
Okay. Maybe I want
Right.
to try it one time.
Yeah. Inshallah. Right. And then what is the next? As-sad. وأنزلنا. Okay, let's go with the consonant ones better. إن يوم الفصل.
Mm.
الفصل. What is the sound of the sad? Like the little chicks, the chick when like is a newborn chick.
Yeah.
Us. That's the sound.
Mm.
So I think you'll never forget it again.
Oh, I'm never gonna
Bees,
forget that.
loctus,
Loctus
chicks.
and chicks. I didn't know the
Yes.
Loctus made those sounds, but I'll have to go on YouTube
Yeah,
and
they
check.
do,
That's
they do, they do
yeah.
this sound, especially if they are in groups.
Nah, okay.
No,
I will
subhanAllah,
never
here
forget
in
that.
that
Yeah.
class, you learn everything. You learn biology,
Mm.
you learn about animals, about food,
Yeah.
everything that is coming out of the out
Mm.
of the out of the sea is considered to
Mm.
be halal for us.
Nah.
And everything that is dead, يعني, it is maita, or it is not slaughtered according to the Sharia, or it was like shocked or like whatever.
Yeah.
The Prophet ﷺ said, أحلت لكم ميتتان ودمان. There are two types of dead creations that are allowed for you, and two types of pretty much a blood, يعني dam.
Mhm. Yeah.
So first thing is al samak, fish, and I think in French it's poisson.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's like so. I literally, I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of anything that is French. That might that might offend you, but
No,
it
don't
looks like
worry.
poison. Poison. Why
Yeah.
you guys call the fish poisson like poison?
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. Okay. So a
Mm.
samak, fish, and lactus, والجراد. And what are the things that are allowed for us as they have blood in it? Al-kabid, liver, and al-tuhal. I don't know what is that in English, like a part in the stomach of the animal as well.
Like intestines or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not really
Okay.
sure. I'm just sure about the first one, which is the liver.
Ah, interesting.
Liver is very rich. Actually, it has a lot of protein in it, and
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Type time flies with you, talking
Yes, it
about
does.
different
I'm
types of
finished.
foods and طيب. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll meet next time.